Okay, Claudette, I probably need to. Can you share your screen, Claudette, if you need to? Oh, okay, good.
That was a no. I just tried.
Okay. I think I fixed it, but
Let me try. Aha. Yes. All right. Hi. I just saw that message, Elaine. Let me just clean up my desktop and turn off all notifications and start here. I'm going to do something really cool. There. How cool is that?
oh, wow.
This is my first presentation that I have made with a virtual background in mind. So let's see how this goes. Great. I'm going to get started. I'm going to honor your guys' time, and people are just going to be beeping in, but that is okay. First and foremost, I should tell you how I did this. So in the Zoom settings, when you go to share your screen, there you can share your desktop, right? We're all used to doing that. Let me look at the camera better. But you can go to the advanced tab, and then you can share your slide deck. It's a beta feature. And so what I'll tell you is, if you design a slide deck that you know you're going to be here and sharing, just leave a little bit of room at the bottom right corner, because you don't want to put things where you're going to be on top of. So this is an advanced sharing feature. So welcome to Building Your Personal Brand. And I am specifically going to talk primarily about LinkedIn and how to use LinkedIn to build your brand. So my name is Claudette Shatto, and I am in the process of rebranding myself and in the process of really creating my personal brand and who I am. And I am an author. I'm going to own it. It's weird for me to say that too, because right now I only write blogs, but I am putting together a book proposal. So I'm going to own that I am an author. I am a professor, and I'm going to talk a lot about that. And I also own my own business, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. So in today's working world, your professional online brand is key. And so real quick, a little bit of housekeeping, how I thought I would present this, how the agenda for today is I do have a brief PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to give you that's going to give you a lot of the best practices and my real world tips for you, if you will. And then what I want to do is I want to actually do a deep dive into your LinkedIn profile. So I'm going to stop while I can continue to share my screen, and I'll share my own personal LinkedIn with you. And I want you to have a LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn profile in front of you, or if not, not during my presentation, but during transition time, I want you to build a LinkedIn profile, because that's really what this is all about, is building your personal brand on LinkedIn. Okay, so let's dive in. So a little bit about me. I thought I would start about who I am and what I know about personal branding. So first, who I am is well, first I'm a mom. Let me say that. I am a mom, and I am home with my two children who are very rambunctious. So we might get to meet them tonight. So I'm just going to say that in advance. But in addition to being a mom, I am also a professor of business and entrepreneurship at Napa Valley College. I've been at the college now 5 years full time. 3 years full time. I started teaching 5 years ago, but I've only been doing this full time for the last 3 years. So prior to working at Napa Valley College, I was in the wine industry, and I was at that same job for 17 years. So for 17 years, I knew how to build a business's brand. I worked for Vista Tui Winery. So I feel like I did a pretty good job building their brand, but I had no idea what it meant to build my personal brand. And I'll just tell you, when you're at the same job for 17 years and you have no interest in getting a new job, you think that LinkedIn, you don't need it. Why would I need LinkedIn? I'm not trying to get a different job. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, how wrong I was about the networking opportunities that are available on LinkedIn. Okay. So Napa Valley College is my day job. I also, oops, got to do it this way, own my own business. Talk about branding. I'll just do this. I'll just be really subtle for a minute and take a little bit of drink of my tea. So I own my own business. It's called Manifest. It's called Manifest the Business is the full name. And I'm a business coach. So in addition to teaching classes at Napa Valley College, I started my side business because I had so many one-on-one clients that wanted to work with me. But really what my business has grown into is workshops such as this. So building online classes and building online workshops. And one of my best clients is actually Napa Learns. So I am also a teacher for Napa Learns. I teach 2 classes for them. I recognize a lot of you guys as my students, but I teach their digital marketing class, and then I also teach social media class for them. Okay. And I'm also developing my own personal brand. So this logo is not quite done yet. We just need to do a little bit more work with the logo. But I am in the process of writing children's books. And so I'm a mama. And so I want to teach the entrepreneur mindset to little kids, like I'm talking kindergartners. I do a lot of leadership work with kindergartners. Actually, first graders seems to be the sweet spot to teach leadership skills. I've taught entrepreneurship to 5th graders, and I love teaching entrepreneurship to 5th graders, but I really want to bring the mindset. And so when I say the mindset, I'm not talking about how to build your own lemonade stand. I'm really talking about tenacity, determination, resilience. And when I originally had this idea to come up with these books series for children, this was pre-COVID. And I think this generation is perfect because they already kind of have that mindset living through COVID and having to adjust in their school age, right? So I'm working on my own personal brand. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this as well. I'm now actually a DJ on 99.3 The Vine. And it's just kind of funny. I'm going to talk about the story about how I started, how I became a DJ. But really, my main motivation is not because I want to have so many jobs, but really my main motivation with the Vine is to build my personal brand and to get my personal brand out there on a much larger audience that I have at Napa Valley College. I'm going to talk a lot about putting myself outside of my comfort zone and doing things that to help build my brand, but like with the vision in mind. And so because I want to write these books and I want to pitch to a national publisher, I'll self-publish if I have to. In order for me to come to the table, gone are the days when you write books and you say, okay, publisher, go market it, right? That's not how it works anymore. You have to come to the table with an established audience. You have to come to the table with an established a group of people that already know who you are, not celebrityism, but you guys understand what I'm saying, to really validate why someone would buy your book or who you are. So that's how I ended up on Mondays and Fridays from 3 to 7. You can catch me as a DJ on the Vine. Those of you guys that are in my Monday night class at 6 o'clock, we'll talk later about how I do both. All right, so that's who I am today. So now let's actually jump in. And like I said, I'm going to talk about best practices, about personal branding, and best practices as they relate to LinkedIn. So be authentic. And to me, that's like a buzzword. Like, what the heck does that really even mean, right? Like, what does that mean to be authentic? And I can tell you 3 years ago, as I started my journey and my transition into Napa Valley College, I didn't know what really that meant to be authentic. I'm just me, right? What does that mean, be authentic? So I'll tell you about my transition at Napa Valley College. So I told you I came from the wine industry. So I came from the private sector. I came from, I don't want to call it the corporate world, but I came from business, right? And I transitioned into being a full-time instructor at Napa Valley College, and I was a fish out of water. I did not feel like I belonged. Like I felt like an imposter. I was so different than anybody that I worked with, and they talked different and they dressed different, and their belief system was different than mine. I- And I don't know how to explain it so much. Just that because I come from the business world and they were from the academic world, I was different. My students would tell me I was different, and that made me really self-conscious. I remember like 3 years ago, I had a meeting. I met with somebody in the community at the coffee shop, let's say, and she came up. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I was expecting somebody totally different." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" She's like, "You're just not academic." And at the time, I took that kind of offensively. Like, I want to be academic. What does that mean to be academic? And all I could do is be me. Like, I didn't know how to be like them. Right. And to be honest, I didn't want to be like them because I felt good about who I was, what I brought to the table. And all I could do was just be me and be authentic and be the best me. Right. And what I learned was that's what made me extra special, actually. That's what made it so that my colleagues would say to me, "Can you join our committee? We really want you to be a part of our committee." And I'm like, "Well, why? Why do you want me to be a part of your committee?" "Because we need your perspective." And I'm like, "What does that mean? What is my perspective? Like, why does everybody keep telling me I'm different?" And they're like, "You come to the table not thinking like academia." So I guess what I want to tell you is, and now I embrace it. Now I embrace being different. Now I embrace being the different girl that I'm just who I am. I'm not I'm not teaching theory at the college. I'm teaching business. So students want real world applications, right? So I guess that's my story on what it means to be authentic. And even though if you're going to feel like you're an imposter sometimes, like just be you, be the best you. Don't try. I mean, people tell you fake it till you make it. And I understand what they're saying, but I guess I I don't necessarily know if I necessarily just I feel like work hard until you make it. Be authentic and work hard until you make it rather than fake it till you make it. Does that make sense to you guys? So that's what it means to me to be authentic and to stay true to yourself and to just be who you are and own it. Okay. And I'm happy to, if you guys interject with questions, that's fine. But I am going to give us transition time to actually ask lots of questions about any of this. And Michelle, can you watch my chat for me? If there's a question that comes up in my chat. Okay, so best practice in your own personal branding, be authentic. Create a robust profile. And what I want to do is actually, this is going to be the second half of this workshop, is I'm actually going to go through each element of a LinkedIn profile and tell you what that means to have a robust profile. Okay, so we're going to come back to that one. Avoid cliches. Use your thesaurus and come up with different words other than creative, extensive experience, and passion. Leave those words out of your resume. Leave those words out of your LinkedIn profile. I've even had, I was at a workshop where somebody told me that if they saw the word passion on a cover letter or a resume, they actually threw it away. True story. So, come up with some different words. Be visible, okay? And if you're building your personal brand, you can't be shy about building your personal brand and talking about yourself. And good, thank you. And I am pretty humble. I mean, I've been pretty humble, but now that I have to, be a public figure on the radio, I have to own that. I'm not very good at talking about myself. I'm really good about talking about other people, but I'm not really good about talking to myself. And that's why I've actually like outsourced my personal branding to somebody to help me write my bio. Do I know how to write bios? Absolutely. But I have somebody else writing it for me so that I could, because it's hard for me to like talk about myself in that way, right? Well, we've got to get over that, or we've got to get help. If that's something that's holding us back, then get help and ask somebody to help you do that. Okay. And when I had my first bio that was written about me, My girlfriend's an English professor and or teacher, and I asked her to help me with my first bio. Now I'm at a place where I can hire somebody to help me do that. But if you are struggling with writing that bio, that about you, then solicit help on that. Okay. And somebody that knows you really well, that's going to talk about you in a way that you can't talk about yourself. And I get it. I understand that. But also start sharing things about yourself. Just start being out there and start making posts. So I'm a mama blogger. This is my most recent blog that I wrote. These are my 2 kids, and this is literally my life. The blog that I wrote is The Juggle is Real. It's talking about mompreneurs and juggling it all. How do I juggle all these things that I'm doing and be a present and amazing mama? So what I want to say is start blogging, start writing blogs. Again, I only write about things that I really know about. I can write them pretty quickly because I don't have to do a whole lot of research because I'm talking about my authentic self, right? So start blogging, and that's a whole nother class. If you want to know a lot about blogging, come to my digital media class, marketing class, because blogging definitely helps your search engine optimization for your business, but it's one way and a very easy way to start getting yourself out there for your personal brand. So I'm a blogger, and I blog for a few different organizations now. This one right here is for the radio station. I also blog for Napa Valley Kids, and just start doing it, right? And I used to have that imposter syndrome that I'm not a writer, that people don't want. I don't write like the way English professors would write. Can I just say, nobody wants to read that anyways. Nobody wants to read a stuffy, book or stuffy article. Again, that's about being authentic. I write how I am and who I am. And if you write them, publish them. You've got to share them, right? And that's where LinkedIn will come in. And I'm going to be honest with you, I forgot about LinkedIn as like this amazing place for me to be sharing my blogs up until recently. Yes, this is where you're sharing your professional work that you're doing. So just be sure. And if you're not in a place right now where you feel comfortable blogging, then just share articles, share other people's blogs. Start establishing yourself as a subject matter expert by sharing other people's blogs. And you guys can write this one down. Again, this is a tip that I give you in my digital marketing class. You can set up a Google alert. So let's say, you are a woman-owned business. I'm making this up. I could set up a Google alert that sends me all articles on woman-owned business. Anytime the word woman-owned business comes up in an article, those are going to be coming to me so that I can start sharing those on my LinkedIn network. Does that make sense? So just start sharing. Okay, just start sharing your status. Additionally, events that you're attending. So this is something great that you can start sharing on your social networks and on your LinkedIn, workshops that you're attending, uh, things that you're really interested in. If you start sharing those, again, you're establishing yourself as a subject matter expert or establishing yourself of things, relating to you, right? Like starting to build your network, and people are going to see that and start understanding who you are and what you're about. I put this picture in there because I really also want to talk about getting out of your comfort zone. And 2020 was the year of me pushing myself to the limits that I didn't think I could do. And being on the radio, I'm just going to tell you that being on the radio was it was way scarier than ever getting in front of a group of people or students. Like, I've done a lot of public speaking in my life, but being on the radio is a whole nother level of scary. And I just put myself out there and I just learned how to do it. And I've never had radio training. And doing that has opened up so many doors for me, and doors that would never have been open, such as being on, technically it wasn't TV, technically it was YouTube, but being a host of a charity event that raised hundreds of thousands of dollars in Napa County. Like, what an amazing opportunity for me to be a part of that. And I'm going to talk a lot more about that. But be bold about that. Like, I want to be humble. Like, I want to be humble that I did this. But if I'm building my personal brand, I have to share this, right? I have to be proud and I have to share it. And it feels uncomfortable. But if you're building your brand, this is what you have to start doing. Does that make sense? Start updating with events that you're going to or that you're hosting. And projects that you're doing. So this is a fun project that we're doing with the radio station. It's a really popular segment. It's actually going to be changed to 3:15 on Fridays. And you got to share it. You got to start telling people where they can listen to you. If you're going to be a podcaster, how can they find you? How can they listen to you? How can they submit ideas for the projects that you're working on? So just start sharing those things. These are things that you can start sharing. Okay. Be consistent. So with your messages, your profile picture, and I'm going to talk again a lot about, like, we're going to do a deep dive into LinkedIn, but that profile picture, it should be very consistent. So like everybody knows that that's your branding. Claudette with the pink shirt, right? Like that is my personal brand, or, for now, that is my profile picture. Whatever I say, who I am on my LinkedIn profile, that should match my resume. Okay. That should also match my social network. So if you're going to give yourself a title, or you're going to own your handle, have that handle be the same, for all of your networks so that people can find you. Just be really consistent with your personal branding. And give generously. And when I talk about LinkedIn and when I talk about give generously, or even on social channels in general, like things, engage with things, engage with other people that you want to network, right? Just start talking to people. Like if I'm posting things on social media and people are talking to me, I'm talking right back. And so this is an easy way for people to engage with you. So when I say give generously and I'm talking on social, I mean like giving compliments, giving likes, sharing content, tagging people, all of those sort of things. When I say give generously, I really mean like engage and give those likes, right? We all need it. Other people need it. We need it. And, it's just reciprocal. So I want to tell you to think about giving generously, but I also want to tell you about giving generously. And so people ask me all the time, how did you end up a radio DJ? Like, how does those opportunities just fall on your lap, Claudette? Well, I'm out there and I talk to a lot of people and I'm engaging with a lot of people. I'm talking to a lot of people on social media. And when opportunities come to me, I say yes. And so when an opportunity came to me 3 years ago for me to record radio commercials, for me to record commercials for the radio, I had never recorded a commercial in my life. I had no idea what I was doing, but I said yes. Like I made it work. And by me saying yes, I didn't get paid. It was totally free. And I thought it was just going to be like, I record it once and then this was going to be like aired on the radio. No, for like 8 months, I had to go in every week and record a different advertisement every week for 8 months. But I did it and I was happy to do it, um, because that really, like, again, opened doors for me. And I didn't get paid for it back then. This hosting gig that I just had for Mentis, I did that for free, right? At this point in my life, I can charge for things like that, but it was the first time that I'd ever read from a teleprompter. It was the first time that I had been on live TV, been in a studio with like cameras on me. And so that first time around, I did that for free. Yes, absolutely. The answer is yes. But now I know how to do it. And I always knew I could do it. But now, next time somebody asks me, I'll be more prepared on, what the time commitment is, what's expected of me, and what I would charge for something like that. When Napa Learns asked me to be their instructor, I said yes, right? When anybody asks me to put together a PowerPoint or a presentation on something, the answer is yes. And so I just want you guys to get in the habit of really, even if you're so out of your comfort level, just do it, right? And if you try it and it doesn't work for you, then you don't have to do it again. But I really just want to tell you, like, it's not always about getting paid. Sometimes it's those unpaid opportunities or those internships that you're getting now that's going to open up so many more doors for you. So that's my advice, to give generously. Now, my last slide actually has, it looks like I'm done with my presentation, but I'm not. So what I want to do now is I'm going to open it up for questions. And then what we're going to do is we're going to jump into LinkedIn, and I'm going to actually share my LinkedIn with you. And I want you guys, like, really this to be way more engaging than me just talking at you when we get into the next half. So I am going to stop sharing for a second so that I can see all of you guys. Hi, I would love to see your pictures. Hi, Eric. Thank you for showing me yourself. Larissa, right? Sheena. Anybody else that would love to turn on their camera, this is a good time to do that. Hi, is it Raina? Elaine, good to see you. Patricia, you usually show yourself. Lisa Marie, I would love to see you. Hi. And Misty, Miss Cora, I didn't even know you were on the call. Hello. Christy and Celine, welcome, all of you guys. So talk to me. I was a really fast overall best practice, but any feedback, any questions? Elaine, are you off mute because you want to talk?
No, no. Dave came in and turned on like the house. And so he forgot I'm here.
Okay. Okay, so it feels like there's no questions for me. So let me get a show of hands. Lisa Marie, I see you. That's what I'm about to do now. So we're going to actually jump into what it means to build a robust profile. I'm actually going to go step by step and just go through my profile, how I did it, what I do, and how I use LinkedIn. I'm going to actually do a deep dive on how I use it. And then can open it up for more questions then. So anybody else have questions about any best practices other than actually doing the deep dive? So let me get it. So down at the bottom right corner, there's a little circle, a little happy face with the plus right there. So go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you already have a LinkedIn profile. Okay, so just a couple of you don't have one. Okay, that's totally fine. Good. This next demonstration, oh good, it looks like everybody then, maybe. Go ahead at this time, I want you to log into your LinkedIn profile. Go ahead and log into it for me. I'm gonna do the same. Okay, so everybody, Jennifer, are you raising your hand for a question, or are you just telling me that you have a LinkedIn profile?
I'm just letting you know I have a LinkedIn profile.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Awesome. You can put your hand down. I think you have to just lower hand. Okay, Patricia, that's okay, guys. That's what I'm here for. So stop with the negative self-talk. We can't do that to ourselves. We're gonna, that's why you're here today, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna start at the top and kind of work my way down. And not like I'm the master of all masters of LinkedIn, but I just, what it means to have a robust LinkedIn profile and how I use it. So this, I call it the hero shot. I'm not really sure what LinkedIn calls it. It's your banner image, I think is what you call it. That is prime real estate. So it's a real mistake if you don't put something there. And so what I wanted to show in my banner there was me teaching, and here I was teaching a woman, right? And it was really important for me to show, because at the time when I was building Manifest, really my niche clientele that I was working with was primarily women-owned businesses. That's kind of, you know, what I worked with, nonprofits and women-owned businesses. So not only did I I show a picture of me, engaging and teaching, but I used that opportunity to also put my logo there. Okay. And I made my logo, my original logo, I made it on Canva. If you don't know what Canva is, write it down. Canva, not Canvas, the learning platform, Canva, Canva. You're going to thank me for that nugget. If that's the only nugget you take away from this entire workshop, it's a good one. So I actually made this cover shot, this hero shot here in Canva. I made my logo in Canva. And what's great about Canva is you don't have to be a graphic design artist or have any special photo editing software. You literally just say you want to do a Canva cover photo, and it'll give you the exact specs and it'll let you design it, right? And so this is very simple, but you design it to work for you. What is your personal brand and what is that going to say about you? The next thing you're going to want, Sheena just asked, with all of your endeavors, how did you choose which logo to have as your headline banner? So my focus right now, because I don't have the book deal yet, is, and I'm not quite done with the personal brand logo, is still Manifest. Manifest is the big company, let me just put it out there to the universe and manifest it. Manifest is the big company that's going to own all of my other small companies that's going to happen. So like the personal brand actually falls under Manifest. I actually also trademarked Manifest the business. That's a timely process. So for now, I'm leaving Manifest as my logo until I solidify what that personal branding looks like, the Claudette Shatto brand. Professional headshot. Okay, let me tell you what I mean by professional headshot. I don't mean you have to go pay an expensive photographer to do it for you. What I mean is, don't try to take some fun picture that you have on Instagram because you look good in it and put it as your LinkedIn profile. Like, that's not what you want to do. Literally, I'm going to just tell you, this picture is taken right next to a dumpster. But we really liked the natural background. And so that's why, oh, Patricia says she does headshots. Fantastic. This is how you market yourself, all about your personal branding. Just put it out there, girl. Proud of you for that. So Patricia could help you. Or if you don't have a budget for a professional headshot, because we want to pay Patricia because we honor her and that is her business, use your phone, guys. Just have somebody take portrait mode. Okay. What I really want you to do is do your hair, right? No baseball caps, no hoodies. Make yourself very professional. If you're in the wine industry, then okay, have a glass of wine. If you're a vet, okay, a vet like a veterinarian, okay, have your puppy. But other than that, you don't need to have those props. It's just all about you and your headshot. Patricia, do you have anything to add about a professional headshot? Oh, she's even giving us
you just need to look like you're having fun, but not the classic, not you just can't look, you have to look like you. That goes back to being authentic. You have to look like you, but you have to look grown up at the same time. I don't know. Say it, I mean, my shot's pretty good, but it needs to be updated. I don't take good photographs of myself.
Stop with the negative self-talk.
No, it's hard to take a photograph of yourself.
So that's why you outsource. You have somebody else help you do that, right? Just like me, it's the same thing. It's really hard to do things on your own. And so that means you just need to do trade, right? Trade with somebody, right. Somebody take your picture and you'll take theirs, right? Fantastic.
Yeah.
Just like Patricia said, it just needs to be fun, showcase you, be authentic, but it doesn't need to be overly complicated. I don't want you to overthink this. Literally, one of my students, I loved his profile picture because I make my students do this. He's like, thanks. It's in my dining room. My dad took it with my phone and I'm wearing sweats on the bottom and a jacket and a tie on top. That's all you have to do, right? Just like Zoom, we're all used to pajamas on the bottom and, lipstick on the top, same thing. Give yourself a title, and maybe that title is student. of something. I'm okay with that, but you're going to want to give yourself a title. It's going to ask you the city that you live in. That's fine. And so that's kind of the top half there. Now, I read a lot about LinkedIn and best practices, and most best practices that LinkedIn will tell you, which is fine, it's just your personal preference, is that this should be written in first person. Who am I? I actually wrote it or had it written in third person because when I do speaking engagements, people want my bio, and I'll just tell them, here's my bio. So I'm using this as my bio for people to use in publications when I'm doing public speaking. So that's why I have it written this way, as opposed to my website. The About Me is totally fun, totally in my language, totally first person. So it's up to you. There's two schools of doing it. You can do it in first person, or like I said, mine is more bio-ish. It's not, there's no right or wrong way, but you definitely, want to have, the point is you want to have something here for about you. If this is really hard for you to write, have someone else help you with that. Someone that knows you really well, that can help you talk really good about yourself. Okay, that was something really hard for me. And then what you want to do is, this part is very resume-ish. Okay, so the same way you would present your resume is the same way you're going to present your experience. There's one thing I want to show you. As notice here, I have business coach with Manifest the Business, and I have my logo here. I want to show you how I did that, okay? Because LinkedIn didn't create that, right? I did. So if you have your own business and you want to put yourself out there like that, you're going to go to you're going to go to the Rubik's Cube. I call it a Rubik's Cube. You're going to pull this little arrow down here. Oops, I'm hiding it. And then you're gonna can you all see that? You were in my way, but create a company page. Okay, so that's really important. If you own your own business, or if you want to get into business, create your own company page. So I created my own company page, and then when I put my experience, I was able to hyperlink it over here. So actually, I think if we click on it, it goes right to my company page. It's a live page. It's not hard. It's the same way as their social media things that you would create. And then what I also want to talk to you about is, a lot of times, because I work with students and I work with young adults, they don't have a lot of experience yet. What I would tell you is then put your any volunteer work that you've done, or if you don't have a lot of experience, then that's where you're going to start doing those internships and start saying yes and start getting that experience. You've got to put yourself out there. You've got to make those calls and try to, even if you have to work for free, just to get yourself up there, just so you have that experience. Obviously, your education. What I don't have here, because I don't have it, but a lot of you do, is you take for granted your language skills. So you might have been raised speaking a different language, and you just take it for granted because you know 2 languages. That's a huge skill to have. And so be sure to put how many languages you speak. Any certifications? So those of you guys that are in my Fundamentals of Digital Marketing class, I hope to sure as heck you guys put that Google Digital Garage right onto your LinkedIn. They actually made it really easy and gave me a link how to do it. But to add a license or certification, it's super easy. I mean, it's just type it in, right? It's not hard at all. And then any volunteer experience that you've done, right? And so some of you guys might not have work experience, but really you can talk about your volunteer experience. And that's when internships are really going to help you. And then lastly, don't be embarrassed when you ask for letters of recommendation. I give out a lot of letters of recommendation. And one of the habits that I've been getting into is, in addition to sending them a letter, I also put it on their LinkedIn profile. Okay, so don't be embarrassed to ask people for recommendations on your LinkedIn. That's another really key thing right here. And then obviously any publications, here's where you would put the languages. The interest, those actually just come up naturally based on organizations that I'm a part of.
Claudette,
That-
can I add something?
Absolutely.
In the recommendations part, it's been my experience that it's best to ask when you don't need it. Because when you're gonna leave or you're gonna change or you're gonna, and then it becomes awkward, and once they write it, they can't really retract it. So it's best when you're really shining and you're on a team with somebody and you say, hey, you know, just send them the link and ask them to recommend you. It's best to do it when you don't really need it.
You always
You're
have
muted.
great insight. Yes. Ask for it anytime. You don't have to be looking for a job to actually get that recommendation.
In fact, it's better than when you're looking. Because then if somebody's looking, if you're interviewing, they see that it just got added.
So can you guys hear me? Because my internet sounds telling me that I'm unstable. How do I use LinkedIn? Okay, I have a job. I'm not looking for a job. How do I use LinkedIn? It's a networking opportunity for me. And during COVID, it's a blessing because we couldn't go to networking events. So I didn't realize how powerful LinkedIn was for networking until I put up my business. Guys, I don't pay for LinkedIn. I don't have sponsored posts. I just am consistent and I put stuff up on LinkedIn. I was getting clients from LinkedIn. I actually turn down clients now. People are still reaching out to me, and not spam people, like real people reach out to me and they saw me on LinkedIn. And I always ask them, how did you hear about me? And they're like, oh, we saw you on LinkedIn. What? It works? I've been quoted in a blog for Bank of America. So Bank of America's small business blog reached out to me and thought I had really great experience. And so they wanted a quote from me for their national blog. What? Me? They found me on LinkedIn. If you are looking for a job though, 100 trillion%, you need to be on LinkedIn. Like I'm just telling you right now, you have to be on LinkedIn for you to put yourself out there to get a job. If you just want to, have an entry-level job, well then LinkedIn is not, you're right. That's not going to go there. But if you're looking to upskill and have a professional job, this is where recruiters are looking. This is where businesses are looking. They're looking you up on your social channels. You should have a presence on LinkedIn. This is how people get poached to get hired. Like they find you on LinkedIn, and this is how you can get better jobs. They find you. And so I cannot tell you enough about how important it is to be on LinkedIn. Additionally, if you're in sales, LinkedIn is amazing because instead of cold calling a business and saying, can I please speak to the director of marketing? You actually can pick up the phone and say, can I please speak to so-and-so? And how you know that is because you've already looked up their LinkedIn profile.
A lot of nonprofits now are doing internships through LinkedIn because it's free for them to do it. You're out.
I know, because my children are here.
Oh.
Okay, so I want to give time for you to deep dive into your LinkedIn. So I'm going to stop sharing. This is the time that you should be now on your LinkedIn. I'm giving you some advice. Maybe you don't have that profile banner shot yet, but now you have Canva. So I use my Google login for Canva. It's free. So look at your LinkedIn. What could you be doing better on it? Right? And how can I help you? Lisa, how can I help you? Thank you, Peg. Looking at your LinkedIn, like what questions do you have? Or is like, you know, we can go back to those best practices I gave you. If you want me to help you, like how do you apply those best practices on your LinkedIn, or tell me what you mean.
I think, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Typing just takes too long. I have my profile has been done. My resume matches. My LinkedIn has a lot of what I need currently represented. I think about myself. I've had a lot of people look at it. Language wise, I think it's pretty well represented, except for maybe there might be some of those cliche words in there that you address. So there's always change and ways to improve it. It's not, it's always moving. Just based upon the job. Sometimes I change my picture up above or whatever it is I'm applying to. Sometimes I'll add things knowing that as soon as it goes in, if they're going to pay attention out of the 1,700 applicants they have, they might look at it. And if they see something specifically about them right away and the interests I have in them are matching language, it works. The one thing I haven't done yet, I was going to just hire somebody from Upwork to do, but how to align so that the application process fits what do you call that? I'm not sure. The key components of what fits when you apply. There's a matching system that works for them instead of having to do it's automated.
Yep. So there's bots now that are, so what I do, so this is really good. Thank you for asking that, Lisa Marie. And I want to tell everybody this. First and foremost, I want you to create your LinkedIn profile for your dream job, for the job that you want. Okay. And so what I would do is if I was looking at a job, read the job description, right? You have to read the job description and you want to pull out some of those key words in the job description that show that you have those skills and think outside of what they're saying. So like, for example, I wanted to teach at the college. Have you ever taught a class before? I could have said, no, I've never taught a class before. If I only thought they were asking, have you ever only taught a college class before? Because the answer is no. But no, I've taught a lot of classes. I teach a lot of workshops, create workshops having to do with wine. I would create a lot of workshops and teach classes to employees. I would do a lot of trainings. So I had to massage, I wasn't lying, but I had to massage my job experience to match those keywords to line up what I was doing so that it was consistent with what they were looking for. No, it wasn't teaching a college class, but I had teaching experience. Does that make sense? So create your resume and create your LinkedIn profile for that dream job using what you have, okay? Think about it. So if you just work at Starbucks, and I shouldn't say just work at Starbucks, no, you work in a fast-paced working environment. If you work in the Napa Valley Starbucks with high-end clientele, with important, you know what I mean? Like, and if you work at McDonald's, I want you to Google power words working at fast food or power words working as a barista. Somebody out there has already crafted those power words, right? Not passion and creative. And you're like, yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that. And you can start incorporating those words into your resume and into your profile. But definitely, hello there, definitely craft it, those keywords that are in the job description. See if somehow your work experience does align with that and use those keywords. Is that, Lisa Maria, is that what you were asking?
No, actually not specifically. I was asking about automating the process from the individual fields to the jobs, like when you apply.
I don't
know? Okay.
No.
I can do it on Upwork. The other thing is, how do you feel about how much do you put there when you have years and years of differentiating experience? Because, you know, age is something that can be held against us, and I do the best I can to not show everything.
Yep. And I want to show you guys something. Don't let me leave without giving you away the best free nugget I'm about to show you. So again, craft it for your dream job. So if your dream job has nothing to do with the fact that you worked at all these other jobs, then don't list them. You don't have to literally put every job you've ever had in the last 10 years, 5 years. If you can show consistent work experience and you can show that you can keep a job and you don't bounce around, that's valuable, but it doesn't have to go all the way back to the beginning of time, especially if it's not relevant. I'm just going to be honest with you. My in-between job between Visa Tui Winery and Napa Valley College was Cellar Pass. I worked for Cellar Pass for 6 months. I transitioned with them. Great people. It just wasn't a fit for me. It's not on my LinkedIn. I'm not shameful of it. I'm not lying about it, but it just has nothing to do with who I'm presenting myself to be. Does that make sense? So you don't have to put it. You don't have to put it just because you worked there. How far back to go is a really good question. I don't put years anymore because of ageism. Because it shows, if I show you what year I graduated from college, then it's going to be really easy for you to figure out how old I am. I need to remember that I got it. It doesn't matter. It matters that I have a master's degree. It doesn't matter what year I got it. Does that make sense? So that helps.
Yeah,
with
I've done
ageism.
that. I've taken off most of that, except for it does show, within 10-year frames, but I've taken off things that aren't relevant and sometimes change the focus of whatever my title was and just made it general to what I'm looking for, because you wear many hats in a job. You could be a lot of things.
That's exactly right. So it doesn't matter that you did this and that and the other, or that your primary job responsibility was actually to do this. No, I do this because I'm trying to cater it to that perfect job. One thing, I can't believe I forgot to show you this as we're talking about resumes, and check this out. This is going to be your free nugget for coming today. This is going to be, and it's not over, but I'm giving you a parting gift. All right, so you guys should have in front of you my LinkedIn profile, right? Watch this, guys. I'm about to blow your mind. More. I've never played with this build a resume before, because here's why. Save to PDF. You guys can do this. I want everybody to do this right now. So go to your LinkedIn profile, click on more, save to PDF. I'm going to have to stop sharing for a second because I'm not going to be able to show you the PDF. And then what you're going to do, let me go back to the PDF now, open it. You guys probably see it by now, what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. It's like, so let me just go back to it.
That's really cool. I've never tried that.
Did you guys know that you guys have a resume that comes right up? One thing that I want to show you, my summary is way too long. If I was going to use this as a resume, this is way too long. Now I'm going to talk best practices for resume. Notice nowhere on here is my address. That also dates you. You don't have to put an address, especially now. I'm going to call it post-COVID because we're coming out of it. Nowadays, everything's going to be virtual. Like nowadays, it doesn't matter where you live. But generally speaking, you don't have to put a city, state, or state. LinkedIn automatically puts Napa on here, but I'm just letting you know if you're doing your resume, all you need is your name, your phone number, and your email. And if you have a LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn website, that's perfect too. But please don't put your address. Don't put your high school. Those of you guys that are young, well, I say that to my college students because they're in college now. Nobody cares where you went to high school. But you don't have to put your address anymore. And you'll see that LinkedIn doesn't matter. But you have, look at that. You have a resume. Again, this one's really long. If I were to use this, I would tone everything down a lot for my resume. I've never played with that build resume tool, but it pulls right in from your LinkedIn. I've seen other people do it. Cool trick.
I have a reverse engineering comment that I thought was very helpful. So go to jobs and apply for the job you have now that's on your LinkedIn, or apply for any of the jobs you had in the past. And, narrow down to where you worked and all that. And then look at some of the job postings, and you could look at the skills and the things that are relevant that you may absolutely have that talent, but you forgot to put it in your skill set. And do all this before you go and build the resume thing, because that's how it feeds it. But that's reverse engineering it is really worth the exercise, because you forget, especially at my age, what you know, and there's so many, it was like so many holes I had of things that weren't on my LinkedIn.
Agreed. Lisa Marie, I'm happy to answer any more questions, but I'm going to actually open it up to anybody else. What other things are you seeing right now on your LinkedIn, or questions that you have? Like, what does this mean? Or how do I do this when you have your LinkedIn open? And you can put them in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself. I am going to put this back up for you guys. You guys should be looking at my last slide. So this is my Napa Learns email and my cell phone. I'm happy to, here's what I want to also as your parting gift. Put together your LinkedIn. I have to tell you that I'm really transparent, because I believe this is important. And so if I see holes, or if I just feel that something's not right, I'm going to tell you. So if you want to work with me, I tell my clients this: you have to have thick skin, right? You have to be able to hear it. Please, I welcome it. Email me, ask me, can you look over my LinkedIn? How can I make it better? I geek out on this, guys. I love this stuff. So it's no problem for me if you want to just jot down that email. That's my phone number. Full disclosure, I don't answer phone numbers that I don't know. So text me. I always say that. And I'm happy to talk on the phone to you, but just text me first, make an appointment with me. But I'm happy to look over your LinkedIn and give you feedback on it. I want to honor people's time. So if you are good, I'm good. If you just now are really inspired and want to go play with your LinkedIn, I'm going to say that class is dismissed. But I also want to stay on and answer any individual questions if you have any. You're welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you very much. Everything you had said is very useful.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate the feedback. Celine. Bye, Miss Cora. Miss you.
Miss you too.
Thank you.
Is it Raina? It's Raina.
Rayana.
Oh, even though phonetically I still said it wrong.
That's all right.
Rayana. Got it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Claudette.
You're welcome, Chica. See you later.
Yep.
Yes, Lisa Marie. Or are you still on? Go to my syllabus. Just go look at the syllabus, and it has my calendar. And if my calendar doesn't work for you, then just go and email me or text me, and we can do another time. Does that help? Cool.
Hey.
Hi, Mario.
I was over here working away, listening. It was awesome.
I want to ask Larissa, are you related to Michael?
I was.
Okay.
I am and I was.
Okay. Then I'll leave it at that. Okay.
Okay. Father my children.
Okay. Got that. Patricia, are you good? Do you have any other questions for me? Okay, you guys can go. Larissa, do you have a specific question for me?
No, just got busy looking at my profile, so I'm signing out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ciao. Patricia, are you good? You're just working along too? Okay. Do you guys want to hit stop recording?